Hey guys, and welcome to Vegan Booty Talks. As usually, your host here, Aurora Vegan Fit, and I have a guest with me as a mathematics, physics, and astronomy college instructor and cosmology researcher. Faik combines his academic background with his role as a professional writer and entrepreneur. Passionate about animal rights and gender equality, he founded Vegius to provide vegan services and support animal sanctuaries worldwide. Hi, Faik. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, Aurora. Thank you so much for having me in your show.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited to talk about Vegius, which is I actually recently discovered. And it was so cool to find out about your app and what you do. And of course, I want to talk about all of that. But before we get started, I'm sure our listeners are curious. Can you tell a little bit more about yourself? Like where you're from? What do you do for living right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Algeria, Northwest Africa, and I came to the United States as an international student. I got a scholarship from Cornell University to study astrophysics. I came then, and my journey was quite untypical of how I came to the United States and what happened thereafter. Right now, I live in California. I am an instructor of physics, mathematics, and astronomy. And I do research at UC Davis in cosmology, which is the physics and astronomy of the universe as a whole. And I have lived in the United States for the last 23 years. And yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a quite a bit of bio. I mean, this is so interesting. I think you're such a smart person, and what you do is absolutely interesting for me. I'm all about research and, of course, about our planet. But can you tell us a little bit more about what does your Vegius app mean? How is that actually works, and how you in the first place get an idea of creating something like that?
Absolutely. So as I was telling you, as you can tell from my biography, the thematic thrust of my career has always been towards building a scholarly career. So that has always been the case. I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, and if you told me that, I would have laughed at you just a couple of years ago. I kind of evolved into this role because of the commitments and because of my evolving understanding of this vegan landscape and animal rights. And so let me tell you how that came about. So when I first came to the United States, the first semester, I saw animal rights activists tableting. I'm not familiar with the concept when I grew up in Algeria. In fact, meat is eaten by people, but it's not really an integral part of culture. I mean, it's sort of a luxury item, and that is in fact the case in many parts of the world. The United States, well, because people don't realize the meat is as cheap as it is just because it's heavily subsidized. And so in fact, I was kind of really shocked when I saw meat for breakfast at the dining hall. It's a completely strange concept for me. And so I started to think about meat, and so I was a little bit open to that. And when I saw the animal rights activists tableting right away, I became vegetarian, thinking that being vegetarian, not killing animals, that's all that I needed to do. So I really did it for the animals from the start. My heart was in the right place, my mind was not. And it sort of fell to the background. I always thought of vegans. I have heard of them. There were a few of them back at the time. I thought of vegans as sort of a little bit extreme. I thought they were a little bit, I called them fundamentalist vegetarians. And about 6 years ago, I became vegan. And so I started attending these animal safe events. And right away, I realized it was sort of a shortcut to PTSD. So I mean, you go see these horrific events, usually at night, you take that with you, and then, right before bed. And I just felt really helpless and useless. Well, and plus, there was nothing out of me uh, uh, to gain in terms of me supporting animals. Yes, it is extremely important that animals get even a little bit of love right before they go into the slaughterhouse, but the psychological price, unfortunately, was too high. So I decided to do something different. So I started volunteering at Animal Place, which is an animal sanctuary, and I started meeting sanctuary owners or founders. I mean, sanctuaries usually are owned by animals, really. And then I started to realize certain things. So, for example, these sanctuaries usually started by women, that they usually people who are very sensitive, empathetic, very resourceful, and the vegan revolution was picking up, and there is a huge disconnect in this landscape. Well, you could see even companies like Burger King and McDonald's and all of them jumping in the wagon, trying to get a piece of the slice, or trying to get a slice of the pie, economic pie, completely letting not thinking about animals and the animals that get saved and the sanctuaries that care for them. And plus, I noticed there was really no platform that supports travel, lifestyle, and all of these vegan things. So then initially, I envisioned it as a nonprofit because, as I said, I went into it to support animals, but then that turned out to be very limiting for all kinds of reasons. Plus, it is a stringent sort of, from a legal point of view, economically stringent structure will not allow me to do what I do. So I created this sort of hybrid. So structurally, it's a company, but I structured it in such a way that we give up to 50% of the fees that we collect to animals. To animal sanctuaries, of course, to animals indirectly. So,
Can I interrupt you for a second?
yeah, of course, please, anytime.
Yeah, you said something about disconnection between a real saving animals and taking care of them and those like a new trend which is coming into everywhere. And we can see vegan burgers in, I don't know, like 7-Eleven, in Burger Kings, we have Beyond Meat everywhere now. So can you kind of deepen there and what's the
Yeah,
disconnection in that you were talking about?
yeah. Disconnect on many levels. So on one, this is a new economic trend. So many people, including vegans, including many vegans, not everybody, see it just as an economic opportunity. We do this, we sell, we make money, we walk away. So it's kind of allowing the market to go to sort of come into this space with that cold market calculus. It's all about profit. It's all about making a buck, completely disconnected from its grassroots foundation, which are these animal sanctuaries doing all this work, changing hearts and minds. So that is a disconnect at one level. And this creates a financial disconnect because you have these sanctuaries, nonprofit organizations with people that put it on the line, and they are trying so hard to stay afloat at a time where this vegan revolution is creating a lot of abundance, but that abundance is getting concentrated in the hands of very few people. Like the same kind of story that has been happening over and over again. And the third disconnect is that, okay, so there are these vegan products, but how does that help more people turning vegan if we don't create opportunities for more people to go visit sanctuaries, interact with animals, and have conversations with staff at sanctuaries? Because it's these conversations and these encounters that seem to have the biggest impact on changing hearts and minds.
Mm-hmm.
So the economic disconnect, there is the intellectual disconnect. And one of them is feeding into the other.
Yeah, totally. I see that a lot, and I agree with you. A lot of things changing, but sometimes, yeah, I question those changes by saying, well, that's a new trend, and you're just trying to like make money of it. Like when you go to the grocery stores, and on one hand, I'm happy to see more plant-based options everywhere, right? In the refrigerator sections and everywhere, in almost every store. But on the other hand, as a nutritionist, I clearly see that those are substitutes. They are not healthy either. They are maybe healthier than animals just because we are saving our planet and using less water, less land, right, to produce them. But in the end of the day, it's not really healthy for us and it's not really do anything to animals. So it's really weird. It's really weird. And it's also like, it's almost remind me about, I don't know, I mean, yeah, probably, you're even older than me. Like you remember that tobacco industry when it's crashed? Like first they were saying that smoking cigarettes is so good for you. Even doctors were saying it's good. So then that's crashed, and then everyone was like, oh, smoking is so bad. And then vape came out. It's almost like a vape. That's like what's vegan burgers are there right now. You know what I mean? Because vape
Yeah,
is still smoking. It's
yeah,
still killing you. It's still giving you bad, healthy habit.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just not tobacco, yes. So the same thing with like vegan burgers. It's still a burger. Like it looks like meat. Yeah, an animal didn't get killed for that, but does the animal get saved for that? Or get any treatment or any money that you pay for that, where you're gonna really go to animals or saving them or their health or sanctuaries? That's the questions that people need to ask. So thank you
absolutely.
for
Yeah,
bringing it up. Yeah, I think it's important to talk about. So
yeah, yeah.
now we come into like a really interesting conversation about like, okay, so you get this idea, right? But how you actually create that app and how it works. Because I'm vegan over 8 years and I never seen your app before. I never use it. I'm sure a lot of vegans, vegetarians out there who are curious how to simply use the app and how you did create that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is that we are brand new. The entire project was created just a little bit over than a year.
Mm-hmm.
The app was just launched a couple of weeks ago.
Cool.
So, and that being said, this is just the very, very first version. So, how does it function? It functions like Airbnb, like Eventbrite and Meetup. And then down the road, we are going to add restaurants and merchandise and all of that. But initially, that's what it is. And we already have artificial intelligence integrated into it, but very, very sort of basic version. So now that's where we are trying to raise funds, because we would like to evolve all of this and take it to the next level. And so that what happens every time somebody makes a reservation or any kind of transaction that happens in this space, automatically animal sanctuaries will get up to 50% of the service fee. So the idea is to take the vegan economy and make it empower the grassroots vegan movement.
That's
And yeah, so animal sanctuaries are the very core at it, the very core of it. And vice versa. So create this sort of integrate these sanctuaries with all the power of change they have in them into this vegan economy and let them benefit from it. So turn it a little bit into a grassroots things. As you were saying about these burgers, and yeah, I'm great. I'm very happy that animals are not dying in the process, even if it's killing an animal and eating something very, very unhealthy, or not killing an animal and eating something very unhealthy, a little bit less unhealthy. Still, I'm fine with that. But it doesn't go a long way in changing hearts and minds. And that's exactly what we need. And the problem also, what I believe is that instead of injecting capitalism with ethos of veganism, they went about it the other way. They bring in capitalism to veganism instead of doing it the other way. So you take these ideas of equality, empathy, community, and then you go and you build a sort of like a capitalist niche around them, because this is the world in which we live. But instead of that, so bring this cold calculus of the market, inject it into this vegan space, and then pretend this is something very different. It isn't. And I'm
yeah.
not convinced it is. So we are at the very, very, very beginning. We have stays in about 40 countries, but it's still, as I said, at the very start, we have about 130 sanctuaries from 40 countries have joined us. They are interested in our project and want to participate. And that's why we are doing this second round of funding, because initially it was family and friends and me. That took us up to a point to the launch, but now the project really has to pick up. But that's the model, and that's the vision, and that's the philosophy behind it.
Yeah. So what do you need right now in order to progress? Do you need like people donate to support the app? Do you need to maybe plant-based vegan restaurants or grocery stores to reach out to you? Like how can this actually work? And then maybe who is listening to this podcast and wanted to participate, how they can help you to, keep moving forward with this project.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So all of that we'll be doing ourselves, reaching out to vegan businesses, and so all of that is part of outreach and marketing. But at this stage, We just need to keep the team afloat. We need to keep the app afloat and progressing and going to the next milestones. So we tried a perks-based crowdfunding campaign. And predictably, that did not work very well because we are offering abstract things. You get discounts in the future for a contribution. Well, with people having requests for contributions coming from all from directions, even if we are giving a return, but it's too abstract still. We tried it. We saw how far we can go with this, because the crowdfunding campaigns. I mean the equity-based crowdfunding campaigns, and that was our next step, and that's exactly what we'll be doing in the near future. Is so they would allow you to put the app, and of course they have to scrutinize the company just to make sure this is legit, and of course we are, because we have all our paperwork and everything. And then it allows people to contribute to the campaign, let's say $100, $50, $200, $1,000. And then when the company goes through its first valuation, they get shares at a discounted rate. So we'll decide on that. So because we're working on that right now, 15%, 10%, 20%. So it's you take a risk with the company, because investments are always risky by nature. But can be very highly rewarded. But then when you do it this way, there are two benefits. So one, the funding is grassroots, so that we don't have to turn it over, because if you turn it over to venture capital, then they will take a part of the company, but then they will have the power to be able to dictate where this goes. But for me, I created it a certain way, and I'm not dogmatically attached to the details, but I'm very attached to the vision that we need to create this sort of support of sanctuaries through economical means. So by having it grassroots, you have all these people sort of voting that this is something that they want, this kind of arrangement. It's more community oriented, and also it allows us to, or gives us more power to be able to defend the integrity of the vision. So, and then we will be starting the equity crowdfunding very soon, and I'll certainly update you about the details. And at the point, if you could share with people in your sphere, that would be really great, because we would like to reach as many vegans as possible.
Basically, you just need support. You need some donations to keep this app working. That's what you're saying, right? So people who listen to that eventually can just go into the app, donate money, and then in the end, when it's all gonna work, they're gonna have some sales when they book something right through this app.
Correct. So for now, as I said, the crowdfunding campaign, the crowdfunding that is currently going. So they contribute, and then we are going to, if they make any transactions on the app, whether it's an event or a stay or anything like that, we are going to give them discounts. But as I said, that is really not going to be our focus. We are shifting to equity crowdfunding, meaning we will do it through a platform, and people will know exactly what we are offering. So we'll say at $100, you are going to get this much in the company. So they're going to have stakes in the company. So they'll become partial owners of very small part, but they are partial owners. And
that's how interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, but you can already download this app and then book something through that. Is already possible?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. So like, let me show you. So if you go, so it's in the Apple Store. I don't know why Google Play Store is taking a little bit longer than they should, and we are going to get in touch with them sometime again very soon to see where they are in the process, because they should have released it by now, but it took them a little bit longer. Apple Store was a lot quicker. So when you go to the app, and so we explore, Vegius. So, and then when you explore the app, and then you find all the stays that are already here. So all the stays, you could choose the country, you could put the country here, you could put number of guests and all of that, and you find all the stays. And then you could go also to events. And the third one, you are going to go into, and you could see our sanctuary partners. You click for sanctuary partners now, it takes you to the website. But in the next iteration, it's going to be here on the app. And also for now, for people who want to list, they have to list their property or event on the site, and you'll be able to see it on the app. But in the future,
I know someone, or I maybe personally, because I am I'm an owner of a vegan catering place here in Hawaii, wanted to be added to the app, how people can reach out to you?
Oh, absolutely. So you can go ahead to the website, and then you will find all of the information via the www.vegius, vegius.com. And also you can reach out directly to me. You have my email, F, like my name, as you can see it on the screen, at theveganstay.com,
Yeah.
or CEO at vegius.com. So I could provide you with
this in the description down below so people can
exactly,
find that. It's just so
exactly,
important
perfect.
to
Yeah,
grow the
thank you.
business, and I'm sure.
Exactly.
Like, how about the stays? Like, how do you identify if the stays are vegan or not? If there's has to be a vegan owner of this place, or how you actually identify that?
So there are certain things. So, like for example, so the thing is, the truth is that stays is the easiest part. Most vegans, I mean, most stays, most places are vegan automatically. You go to a place, most I don't see. I mean, most people don't have a animal heads on the walls, and
Yeah,
but
that's what you were saying. Like,
yeah,
yeah, like some
yeah,
feathers, some skin of animals. Yeah,
exactly,
kind of
exactly.
like,
So
but owner doesn't have to be vegan, right, to
no,
participate.
no, 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 not at all. Quite the opposite. We encourage people as long as it's very clear what it is they are offering. So and then there are certain things: fridge, what's in the fridge, which there are the animal parts around, and all of that. So initially, because we have a very limited team, just to get this off the ground, we started doing the scrutiny ourselves. But so we get in touch with the hosts. We will we go into their website if they have one. We interview them whenever possible. But many of them are in a vegan animal sanctuary, so that's the easiest because they're already at that standard. But we want to teach more people to join us. So, and as I said, the stays are the easiest part. Events, one particular, we'll be adding restaurants and all of that. So right now there is a vegan hospitality company that we are actually talking to, and we would love to collaborate with them. So they will take care of this process for us. And then they're going to help us also create very, very rigorous criteria for all the things we'll be offering. And they will be able to even walk people and help people who would like to veganize events, who would like to veganize restaurants, so that they could list with us. So our goal is twofold: to support the vegans already there, but also to reach out to other places and show them how easy it is to become vegan, or a vegan sort of event holder, or event host, stay host, and all of that.
Yeah.
All of
Well,
that
that's
is in
cool. I like
progress.
that. Yeah, that's really cool. And I am happy to even like recommend, I don't know if it's possible to add like a vegan a nutritionist, a vegan
Oh,
doctor.
absolutely. We
Yeah.
are. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We are working on all of that. Absolutely. And as I said, for now, because our first priority was just get the infrastructure, get an app, get the website, create community connections. And as I was telling you, I'm a professor, so I can only work on this part-time, and I have a team. So one person working full-time, the other one's working, two people working full-time now, and the three people working part-time as contractors. So there is only so much you could have accomplished in that first year, media presence, brand awareness. But it's very clear that there is a buzz. It's very clear that there is interest. It's very clear that people are actually very intrigued with this idea of bringing animal sanctuaries and animals at the very core of this vegan economic or evolving economic landscape.
Yeah, that's really,
So
I agree with you. And I'm just really interested to see where it's going to take it, and I will send all my support to you
thank you.
as
Thank you
much as
so
I can.
much.
I'm
Thank
encouraging
you.
our listeners to check the app. It's already cool. Download it. You can already try to use that. And if you are someone who are interested to participate, please reach out, right? Reach out to me, or I'm gonna leave all your description below,
Thank you.
so you can like reach out to him. And I just wanted to jump in on the next level of our conversation, because I mean, we can talk about app forever, and I'm sure it's going to be interesting to actually use that. That's the best, right? Less talking, more using. So we're really going to look about how to use that. But I just really want to ask you in the first place, because I'm curious, I'm sure our listeners as well. why you decided to get vegan.
It's for the animals. For me, it was a no-brainer. As I told you, when I came to the United States, I heard of the concept of vegetarian for the first time, vegan. To me, eating meat, as I told you, in Algerian culture, is not the dominant thing. So people don't, it's not really a conversation. So if it's in front of me, I eat it. Didn't think much about it. But the very moment I got just a little bit of challenge to my worldview, I embraced it. So I just always had a very soft spot in my heart for animals and children. I just acted on it, and
Okay,
it really is that simple.
that's interesting. But how long are you vegan, you said?
So 6 years vegan, but 23 years, 22, 23 years vegetarian. So
Oh,
vegetarian right away,
okay.
and
Okay,
then yeah. And as I told you, I just thought not killing animals was enough. And because I was buying organic this and free range that, it took me time to really dig deeper to realize that no, wait a second, that's just a myth. All of these are just well, I wouldn't even call it a myth, because myth is a very powerful thing, and myth is a beautiful thing, in fact, because the people use it, I think, in the wrong sense these days. I would call it just effective marketing by
yeah,
the
absolutely. This is just crazy. I just watched the new Netflix show, You Are What You Eat, and
yeah,
it's clearly talking about truth that stays behind dairy. And a lot of people are still believing in that if you are eating dairy, you are still not killing animals. And it's just ridiculous because nowadays it's all open. I used to be the same as you. I don't eat meat from I was 9, but I used to believe that, a cow doesn't kill to get milk, right? Because I used to grow up in the village where we actually, take a little bit milk for the cow and then the rest was for the baby. And we had only
exactly.
cow, right? But
Exactly, same thing for me.
yeah, but unfortunately, it's not the case nowadays. As longer we live on this planet, as longer we see that those, animal usage get to the point where it has to stop. And I believe that your app is amazing just because it's the future. And I'm saying that not because I'm vegan, but because I am nutritionist. I love science. And as a scientist, I'm sure you're gonna join me in the believing that one day, and it's not going to be in even 1,000 years, it's going to be in some of the 20 years and 30 years, everyone has to go vegan just because we are going to be like we all going to have to do that to save the planet and to save our health. It's just clear for me like nowadays. Have you watched that movie, by the way?
Not yet. So not yet, but I have a comment about something that he said. So very quick, and one last comment about the app. What you see right now, even though it looks well designed and has content, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to go in 2024. Now about what you just said. So human beings are very complex, and that's the truth of us. So to varying degrees, people are rational. There is not a completely rational human being on this planet. And that is just, it's a myth of the Enlightenment that this rational human being who could figure things out through reason. It's just a myth. It's just an archetype. It's not a real thing. Or not, it's not a physical human being. So people to varying degrees are going to resist any particular doctrine. For example, the earth is flat. The 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 um, the sun is the center of the solar system. Just go to the internet and see how many people still dispute these things 400, 500 years after they have been absolutely and conclusively shown to be otherwise. There will always be people who will resist change. The thing is that whether society as a whole is going to move past a certain point is a different discussion. So people are going to resist. So you get surprised. You were saying just, oh, I'm so surprised because with all of these things, and people are still not believing that the that eating animals is destructive for the health, for the environment. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, no, having familiarity with people and how they are cognitively. We are a mess. People are a mess. Part rational, part ego, part tribal being, part. It's all of that all the time working on people, and gracefully and mercifully, and by some miracle, some of us get to escape it some of the time.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, since I get this connection when I was 9, my family was meat lovers, and I just cannot handle it. I cannot see how animals was killed in the village when I was growing up. So for me, from basically from I was born, it was so clear to make that connection. That's why as I realized, for example, about dairy, and I realized how animals get treated and they are killed for dairy as well, I was like, oh my God, I have to tell that to the world, and everyone's gonna go vegan. And then unfortunately, of course, it's not the case. And I still couldn't believe sometimes when people are coming to me as a nutritionist with huge health problems like diabetes, high blood pressure, overweight problem. And then I'm saying to them, okay, well, you have to go vegan at least for a couple, weeks to get your system in normal place and see how you feel. And they like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, well, you are in a state of point that, you're either gonna die or you are actually gonna leave, but without meat, what's stopping you from that? Just the taste? Like, it's just so ridiculously strange for me. It's really hard to explain to people that you can find the taste of anything in life. It's not only a food, right? It's even if you love taste of meat, which is not the case for me. It's so many things in life that you can do and live longer without meat. So why you would do that to yourself, right? So yeah, it's still kind of for me, maybe I'm young, too young to realize that people are just really complex, just like you say. I think you're right, but it's just really hard to take. Anyways, I wanted to know about you a little more. You wanted to add something?
No, because you keep saying I'm old. Hey, I'm not that much older than you are, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
it's not about age, don't get me wrong. You look great. It's about you're so much smarter. I mean, your working is in mathematics. For me, it's like a deep, dark forest. It's so hard for me. I was not having a good time with that in university. You know what I mean?
okay. No, I just don't want you to think that I'm about to start collecting my social security. I'm much younger than that.
Oh, of course, of course. I'm not talking about the real age. It's more about your experience
Well,
and
thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you.
And I was just wanted to know, like, you working in the school, right? You're the teacher.
Correct. At the university, that is correct. Yes.
So do you break, um, how I would say it, do you actually talk about plant-based diet with your students? And do you try to influence them in any case?
No, I'll tell you why. So, yes and no. I'll tell you, but I know, let me explain.
Hmm.
Because I'm contracted by the school to teach these subjects. And why I'm in the classroom, I have authority over the students. The students are vulnerable to me. As much as I deeply hold these beliefs, but they are personal beliefs. And ethically, and it just doesn't sit right with me to use that authority. It would be an abuse of authority. But that being said, in fact, right before COVID, the secretariat school started having a Tuesday vegan lunch, potluck. We were talking about vegan, so because she saw me holding or eating vegan food, we got into a conversation with my colleagues when we talk or when they see me eating and they ask me, yeah, I tell them I'm vegan. Or even with my students that are at events, when I would eat the vegan food, they get curious. In that case, it's a social event, and then absolutely I don't shy away from it. And in fact, when I was a TA, meaning teaching assistant, when I was a graduate student, helping with instruction, I was closer in age and experience to the students. In that case, it was easier. And in fact, there are two students who they were twins. And I made cookies. I made vegan cookies, and I took them and I just gave them to my students. I like to make cookies for students when I was a graduate student, around their final exams. So
Mm-hmm.
was it final? No, it was actually the midterm. So they ate the cookies. Oh, they said these don't taste bad at all. But Faik, why do you have? Why did you make vegan food? And in fact, as a TA, they called me by my first name.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I told them they started plant-based. I ran into them by accident a year later. They told me how much they enjoy plant-based diet. So it was easier there. because of the age, not just that, and also the rank. I'm just a graduate student, they are undergrad. It wasn't much of a thing, much of a distance. So we could talk about random things occasionally, you know, within certain limits. But as a professor, things a little bit, they get a little bit different. And I have to handle that position and my commitment to that position with the dignity that it deserves. Vice versa, as me creating this older structure, you know, Vegius, and will have to treat it also with the dignity that it deserves. That being said, I have a friend of mine who's a UFC fighter, and he actually tried vegan for 2 months. I have another very dear friend of mine. She's vegan now for 4 years. My family are more plant based. So even though I'm not like too outgoing about it, people are intrigued enough, and for some reason I feel that I have been effective, sometimes more effective than people that pick up fights with people. Because sometimes I think people mislead themselves into thinking that there are certain things are really about animals. Sometimes they feel what it is about power. So yes, it looks like, well, in the surface, it's all about animals, it's about activism, but it's also about creating a tribe of us versus them. It's about ego, feeling superior. And sometimes we go to places where we push people the wrong way. And then instead of intriguing them, instead of engaging with them, it creates a barrier and people become defensive. And also, you know, when we come from a place of ego, more likely the person is going to come from a place of ego. When you place from a tribal place, like, for example, you could criticize the country that I was born in all you want. But suddenly I realize I become defensive if I feel the attack is coming from a tribal place. I also become tribal and start to sort of become defensive. So all of these things influence how I interact with people. And it's not like I sit down and start analyzing everything. It's almost intuitive. So I'm in a place, and I also want to add one more thing. I'm a vegan, and I go to backpacking trips with my non-vegan friends or non-vegan adventure mates.
Yeah, I
And quite a
understand.
few of them, yeah, they started bringing vegan food. So the people get intrigued, particularly when they ask you, then that's an opportunity. I tell them exactly what I just told you. I don't shy away from it. But I find it a lot more intriguing to live a certain way. And then people ask you, and they come from a place of curiosity. That
Yeah,
makes it a
yeah,
lot, yeah.
I agree. I mean, I'm not against activism. I actually absolutely love that. But I just also find the other way where I can change people's lives from like nutrition perspective, from my personal example as the professional, as an athlete, as a professional bodybuilder. So people are oh, you look great. What do you do, right? And then I can tell them that actually I'm actually vegan, right? So like we all have a different perspective and different things that we can influence people. And I agree with you, getting into the fights is never going to bring you to the point that people are actually going to go vegan. They are going to be just angry. And I've been there. I was trying to talk to people all the time, and it didn't bring any other results than just being angry and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you have friends that are not vegan. And I think that, you know, you're doing a lot with creating this app. It's already amazing. I
Thank
mean,
you.
the idea is great. I absolutely love that. And I just wanted to mention that for anyone out there who listen to us, that just by supporting the apps like this, just by your personal example, if you are doing your best, the other people are going to see that and then trying your lifestyle, asking you questions. That's the best for influence someone. But
Absolutely.
at the same time, no one is perfect, right? I'm vegan
Uh,
almost all my life and I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. But we are trying to change this, and this is amazing. I feel like I can talk to you forever,
oh,
but
thank you.
we got some time frame that we
Thank
have
you.
to finish up. So
Of
before I
course.
let you go, can you please give us some advice to anyone who listened to us, and then maybe they wanted to just start their plant-based journey? Can you give an advice to them? Like, what's the easiest way they can try going vegan? And maybe some advice to someone who already plant-based and just trying to spread out the world, like change this planet, what you can recommend for them.
Absolutely. So for somebody who's about to embark on this journey, it is a wholesome journey. It's not just about food. Our food is our most intimate. So our relationship to food is the most intimate relationship we have with our environment. Our food choices impact us physically, intellectually, psychologically, and very importantly, spiritually. Those choices have very, very profound ramifications. For the people in terms of activism, the idea of saving the world is an outdated idea. The idea, so coming to it from a place of saving, what do you mean saving the world? The world, it doesn't need saving. This idea that, or people say changing the world, saving, no, it isn't about that. It's about a simple truth. Animals are sentient beings just like us, and they deserve better, so much better. That's what really matters. Whether that changes the world, whether it makes it better, whether it makes it worse, I have no idea. I don't have the kind of moral authority or intellectual complexity to assess what is best for the world. I don't have that kind of authority. I don't. And in fact, I think people in the past have a lot more humility because that was the realm of the gods. Gods have that kind of, humans don't. And so for me, the focus is just about helping the victims, how I can help victims and how can I support people in the community. And not just that, to remember that all of us at some point weren't vegans, and to remember that all of us are different in our journeys and in our capacity to grasp things, and to be patient, and to remember that humans probably are not a great species, but humans are actually capable of greatness. So take a chance on people and be patient with them, and be open-minded, to the questions, to the challenges, and just really realizing that all of us are very complex. All of us are a mess. And for me, I just told you my story. By luck, I got an opportunity to hear the message, and I was ready to receive it, and change had happened. If I stayed in Algeria,
Yeah, that's a
probably I
good
would not be
point. You
vegan.
have to be
Yeah,
ready to receive that message. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, but thank you so much for amazing
of
advice.
course.
It's
Oh,
really
thank
pleasure
you.
to talk to you. And
Thank
again,
you.
anyone, please, who are interested, go ahead and download the app, support the Vegius app. I love the name, by the way, and I'm sure we're gonna talk to you more and connect more in the future. I'm open to help your app to succeed. So I have an amazing time with you. If anything else you want to add before I let you go, please do so.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so we would be sharing with you updates about where we will be with our equity crowdfunding, and about the apps and the updates, and about the community and how it's growing. And so there will be lots of exciting things in 2024. We are just at the start of this journey, and we really are excited to share it. And I'm very, very happy that we crossed paths, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch and to sharing updates and to hearing from you as well.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, and
Of
have an amazing
course.
day. Thank you guys being with us. Bye.
Thank you.